4 American women that were trying to do good in El Salvador were murdered, raped, murdered. It couldn't be much worse. So how that could be just swept under the rug and forgotten about doesn't seem believable to me or any thinking person. So it will not be forgotten about.
Remaining true to that promise, even 34 years later, the Maryknoll sisters gathered as they always do on the first Sunday of Advent to remember their martyrs, not only Ida Ford and Maura Clark, but many others, and those yet to come. Ida's sister-in-law finds strength in the annual Mass.
They have been our main support. They're called the Maryknoll sisters, but all the family feel that they are our sisters too, our sisters in blood, really. So we've been very fortunate. The Salvadorans have not been fortunate who died. They don't have this large network, so this is part of the reason why the legacy has to continue, so that the lives of the women speak for all those who are voiceless.
The chapel was full of sisters who have the memory of the deaths forever etched in their minds, and they have been speaking for the voiceless ever since. But leading the legacy are the young, those who could not remember but cannot forget, touched and inspired by sisters they've never met.
The message never died out. As a matter of fact, I think the message has been taken up by young people in an extraordinary way. What the women were doing was so important, and it so captured what young people want to be. They want to be good, and they want to do things for others. The story and the life of these women and the life of the Salvadorans is part of their legacy, too.
What they live for, what they try to achieve in their lives will continue to go on, and the injustices of the people that live in Latin American countries will be more known.
Although the Ford and Clark families work foremost for the injustices of the poor, they still want their own justice. For those who orchestrated the murders, General Jose Garcia and Colonel Carlos Casanova, to return to El Salvador after living in Florida with the permission of the United States government.
We were almost essentially betrayed by our own government because they tried to say that the women were subversives. And this was to fit in with their program, their Cold War program. Anyone who was not a communist was fine. We could support that government, and that's why we were supporting El Salvador, even though they were criminals. Our government gave them a pass to come and live in the States. They do not belong in the United States. They don't belong living here with my taxpayer money. They have to go back to El Salvador, and that's where they belong. And I think it says something about the United States, that we have to stand by what we believe in. And when we allow this type of thing to happen, we are less than honorable nation.
But the generals are in their 80s, and it seems now to be a race to beat the clock.
The clock is ticking. The clock is ticking. The wheels of justice grind exceedingly slow.